Hello, this is your girl Red Rose Urban Missionary, and thank you so much for watching this video. I know you're watching this video right now. Today is the 20th of August 2020. It's like 3 days before my anniversary. No, 2 days actually. No, 3 days. 3 days before my anniversary, before I clock 7 years in marriage. So excited, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'll talk about that on the 23rd of August. Hopefully not from this space. Anyway, so if you have no idea what these videos are about, basically these videos are about showcasing the faithfulness of God in my life. So I had promised that I was going to do 35 videos because I'll be clocking 36. But for more data on why I'm doing these videos, please go to my YouTube channel, Red Rose Urban Missionary. Look for that first video I did where I gave, I think, more information about why I'm doing these videos. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me as well on Facebook. And follow and like me on Facebook, Red Rose Urban Missionary. So today is the 20th of August, and I was thinking about the number 20, and this is 2020. And obviously I'll be clocking 36. So in 2020 I've enjoyed a couple of months as a 35-year-old, as a youth, and I'll enjoy the rest of the months as an adult, because according to the Zambian standard, when you cross over to 36 you cease to be a young person, which is something that I'm okay with. I think I'll be able to talk about that on my birthday, which is in like 4 days if I'm not mistaken. Today I wanted to talk about, first of all, my love for young people and a few things that I've learned from working with young people, from being young myself, and so on. And you notice that almost everything that I do, I have young people at heart. First of all, because I was once young and I saw what really worked for me. And obviously most of the things that worked for me, they worked for me unconsciously. It was just trying out stuff, and then it works, and then later on you grow up, you're like, oh my god, this is a good way of doing stuff, and then trying to expose young people to that. So I've literally worked with young people from literally when I was still at high school. Like from high school, my first job where I worked for 10 years, out of Zambia. I've worked with young people. In the rural areas, I've worked with young people. In Lusaka, I've worked with young people. In the church, I've worked with young people out of church. I've worked with young people in schools, on the streets, and so on and so forth. I've worked with diverse young people. One of the things that people that I mentor that are still young that tell me is that when they're telling me something about their lives, I don't get shocked. Like, they're like, okay, I've done stuff, let me share with you. And they're like, okay, how come you're not shocked? How come you're not judging me? Because by the grace of God, I've been exposed to a lot of stuff. Like, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've seen literally the hand of God work. I've seen how God can transform someone who wrote themselves off because of their past to being like a powerful woman of God, that when they talk about their past, people are like, no, we can't see the connection, So I do love young people. On my page, on my YouTube channel, you notice that young people is not showing there. It's just mentorship, public health, mental health, capacity and character building, as well as relationships and love. But you notice that almost in all these areas, like, I love young people, and my love for young people is still DIE, do us part. So a few things that I have learned. First of all, I've learned in my job that young people are very talented. Right now I'm working with the most amazing young people on the planet, and I just love how they are unique in their own ways. I have young people, others that are rappers. So when you want someone to rap for us, to do songs at work, like, they'll just write lyrics and here it comes, amazing. We have young people that are thinkers. Some of the people that I work with are thinkers. They just think. Others, like, they like to present, they're always on stage and so on. Others are just analysts. I've learned that each and every young person has unique strengths, unique abilities or capabilities, and it takes you, a person who's watching over them, to identify those skills. And I've noticed also that sometimes young people don't really have an idea of what they carry, so they need a person. And I think that's what happened in my life. Like, I started my job when I was 20 years old. And it took this one person to just see beyond what met the eye. In my other videos, I talked about crudely about how I started work and I didn't even believe in myself and so on. But just the right words that those people told me helped me to see within myself and say, oh my goodness, so I can do this. And I can assure you, if there were no people, those people in my life, I don't think I would have been here in my career. So I've learned that young people sometimes don't know what they carry. As a result, they try to be someone else, because they don't know what they carry. So it takes people like you and me, adults, to harness the potential that they have, and just to remind them of what they carry. Not to tell them lies, to literally tell them the truth, And I've learned that young people are available, like you can call them anytime, you can tell them to come, they're flexible. They won't tell you, oh no, my husband, no, my wife, and so on, which is, I think, a great skill. But I've also learned that it takes, I'm passionate about career and character and capacity building, because young people, yes, they have the skills, they have the energy, they have the time availability and so on, they have the untapped potential, but sometimes because they don't know what they are carrying, they need someone to guide them. That's why for me, anytime I have an opportunity to work with a young person, I try to see, okay, what is their potential, how can we build their capacity, not only to do their work and other things well, but their character. Because in BBC we believe that your brains, your talent, your beauty, your bravery can take you before any person, can make you achieve whatever you want to achieve, but it's actually the character that will not only sustain you there, but will make you feel fulfilled. So I've learned that it's always important to help young people build their capacity, to learn, to grow, and to also etc., but to also become young people with good character. I've also learned that sometimes when you're working with young people, they might not really catch, might not appreciate what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, even in ministry, like, you find that you tell them to do this, maybe sometimes a bit harsh and so on. Not that you should. Obviously, you have to show love, because it's through love that people will grow. But then afterwards, I've learned that once they've understood that you care for them, they will see beyond your weaknesses. They'll be able to appreciate what you're doing in their life. So I've learned that in everything I do, in as much as sometimes I'm so excited about seeing people grow. I know that sometimes it's so exhausting for a young person, to always work. So it's always important sometimes to take a break and just remind them on what they're doing well. And even when they feel, I don't think I'm good enough, just honestly and truthfully tell them the great skills that they carry, and just expose them. Like, one of the things that I do in my career, in my ministry, and everything else that I do with young people is to create amazing opportunities for young people to see beyond themselves that actually they can do it. So, for example, if someone is aspiring to be an amazing public speaker, what opportunities are you providing for that person? So it could be that opportunity, it could be recommending a book to read, it could be recommending a course, and so on. But yeah, I can go on and on. But what I wanted to say is, if you are if you are in that space where you are creating opportunities, you might want to consider young people, because they are just amazing. Look at me right now. Like, a lot of people look up to me, but remember that if there wasn't that person, those people that took keen interest in seeing beyond my my low self-esteem, I wasn't going to be here. And it's because of what people did in my life that worked, that I feel I should also pass on, to young people. And I'm hoping and praying that even as I cross over to the other side, that God will grant me the ability, the resources, the opportunities, and so on, to be able to provide as many opportunities for young people, opportunities to expand their capacity, to grow in godly character, opportunities, in their career, journey, opportunities in different areas of their lives. Thank God I started doing that some time ago, but I'm hoping that I will go flat out even as I clock. I feel like I'm too old. Even as I clock 36 years old. And if you're watching me right now and you're like, oh yes, we can't wait for that, I want you to say a little prayer for me, so that God can open those big doors where I'll just be pouring out. My prayer is that people should not make the mistakes that I made if I'm still around. People should be able to say, oh, this is Red Rose's life, and just literally walk and ride on the, successes that I've had in my life. Yeah, so I think this is part one, or this is it. Unless I'll get some comments whether I've exhausted the picture, but I can say much about young people. But if you're a young person, I want you to know that I love you so much. I want you to know that you are valuable. I want you to know that I want you to know that God loves you as well. Like when you look at scripture, God works with a lot of young people, including Jesus. Joseph, to talk about it, the 4 Hebrew boys and so on. So don't write yourself off. You might not know, might not have mastered your line of work and so on and so forth, but if you apply yourself, you have what it takes to do amazing stuff. If Jesus Christ can change the history of the whole world at 33 years old, what about you? You could do that. So I love you. Let's see where God will take us. Bye bye.